And this is Greg, by the way, this is, even though I said broadcast and it says Hangout is live, we are still unlisted and private, so no one is watching us.
So you can still edit my cussing after the fact.
We like to not do that, but
if I can do it, you can do it, man.
Suzanne is listening to this right now and smiling, and she's going to be editing this, and I'm sure she would like to not have to beep it as she gets ready for her Thanksgiving holiday. So.
We'll be on our best behavior, Suzanne.
All right. Everybody say hi, Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne.
All right, here we go. Where are we? Okay, here we go. Welcome back to This Week in Photo. I am your host, Frederick Van Johnson. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about some things that we have never, ever talked about on TWiP before. And I'm saying that facetiously. But here, joining me to talk about some of these stories that are happening in the world of photography this week are Ms. Christine Allward from Christine the Photographer and Greg Benz from Greg Benz Photography. Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi, Frederick.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome. Well, Christine, welcome back to the show. And we have a newbie on the show.
I'm so excited.
Mr. Greg Benz is in the military, we would have called you the FNG. So
I'm familiar with the Fanugi, yeah.
Okay, good. Fanugi. So welcome to the show. We're not going to haze you. Before we started recording, we agreed not to haze you and give you any, grief. But so, Greg, before we get started, tell us about yourself. Where are you from? Why are you on TWiP? What's going on?
Oh, man. So I'm a landscape photographer based out of Minneapolis, kind of shoot all over the place, travel quite a bit. And Frederick and I had actually caught up a few months ago and started talking about this as I was taking the plunge and just kind of connected on a few things. I've been a fan of the show for a long time and love technology, so excited for the opportunity.
And now you're on the show. Now you're on This Week.
Thanks for having me on.
Making history, man. Making history. And Christine, for folks that don't know who you are, what's your story?
I'm Christine the Photographer. Like you said, I'm a portrait photographer. I'm in Sacramento area. I focus on mostly family-oriented stuff. I do seniors and kids and families and some corporate work, headshots and whatnot. So that's what I do.
Cool. Christine the Photographer, is that like Cedric the Entertainer kind of thing?
Maybe. It was the only... Well, my last name is Allward, and when you put an A after Christine, people already call me Christina.
Oh.
So Christine Allward was getting me Christina Allward really easily.
Oh, makes sense.
And
logic there.
And Christine is 9 letters, and photographer is like 13. So I was trying to come up with the shortest word that could go in the middle, and I got the. So that's why
not photography by Christine?
I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah, see, look at that. I like it.
People like it when I say I'm Christine the Photographer. They're like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. That's cool." I think it
all in one word. You kind of say who you are, what your name is, and what you do.
And what I do. Yeah.
And it's done. It's done.
And there's not that many Christines.
Yeah. There's a car called Christine from.
I know, and it eats people, and that's my claim to fame.
Yes. I love it. I love it. All right, guys, let's dive into this week's show. There's a lot of interesting stuff. And what I was talking about in the beginning, facetiously, I was saying we very rarely talk about some of these topics. DJI has been in the news a lot, in the photography news a lot. And they're in again this week. This time they announced the Inspire 2, which is obviously the successor to the Inspire 1, or just Inspire, and the Phantom 4 Pro, which is the successor to the Phantom 4. Basically updating everything in these cameras, adding proximity sensors and all kinds of cool stuff. Greg, I'm going to start with you on this, man. Are you a droner? Are you an aerial drone UAV pilot?
I am. I've got the Phantom Pro 3 and I've got a Mavic coming. So I guess DJI is shipping press releases faster than drones right now.
Yeah, so you have the same setup I have. I have the Phantom 3 Professional and I have a Mavic in my possession right now. And I actually flew it today. So what do you think about this? Does this, like, having a Mavic on order, does it make you want to cancel your order and go buy an Inspire or the Phantom 4?
You know, I guess my sense is go big in like whatever you care most about. And to me, the Phantom Pro is kind of like that in between. It doesn't have like the best image quality I can get off of a camera in the sky. And it's certainly not the smallest thing. So I'm sticking with the Mavic. For me, it's more about kind of being fun, and it's an additional camera in my bag, not something else I want to put in a hard case and check in the underbelly of a plane when I'm traveling.
You hit it. That's exactly because it's in my bag. It is in my everyday carry bag right now. My backpack, like the bag I take everywhere, and it's not. The Mavic for me has changed the idea of being or of having a drone, because like you said before, this big bag that I carry around with me and make a conscious choice to, okay, today I might want to take some aerials, so you bring the case, and when you get there, you spin the propellers on and put the battery in and connect the iPad, and it's a process to get everything, to get into the air to start the shot. With the Mavic, literally, it's like 35, 40 seconds from I want to take a shot to I'm in the air, and it fits in my bag. So yeah, I agree. And I skipped over the Phantom 4, so I went from Phantom 3 Pro to the Mavic, and I don't know if I even want a Phantom 4 after experiencing the compactness of the Mavic. So
how do you like the image quality on the Mavic versus the 3 Pro?
It's
Same?
better. It's better than the 3 Pro. They tell me that it's comparable to the Phantom 4. The Phantom 3, it's better. So I'm winning on all sides. So it's kind of like I leapfrogged, So all the tech, most of the tech that's in the Phantom 4 is in the Mavic. It's not in the 3. So I kind of jumped over the 4 into the Mavic and got the transformer compact little quadcopter out of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. You're gonna love it when you get it, if you ever get it. I know they're having issues. They're having some supply chain issues, I hear. So, Christine, you don't care about this, right? You said on shows before that you are not a drone person and don't care to be one, right?
Well, so, I don't have a drone. I don't use one. I love the stuff that comes from drones. I love watching what people are creating with them. But because it's not a genre that I am a part of, and I don't know that it's something that I would easily incorporate into what I do, I start to get a little bit of drone fatigue, I guess, because I feel like it's all these small incremental upgrades with everyone. And I'm like, can we just wait 2 years and go big? And it's fine that it's not, but I just I get a little tired, or I feel like, okay, what did I really miss? Because it keeps coming out every
you're not in the
so
party.
often.
That's because you're not in the party. That's because.
And that's fine, but
So when people talk about it and they're like all excited, you're like, oh, geez, not again.
Well, and it's related to my industry, so I always have half a year open.
Yeah.
But DJI hasn't come out with anything that helps me in my everyday business.
Yeah,
So it's like I listen, right, but it gets a little tiring that it just feels like it's so.
It's the hot new thing in photography for a lot of photographers right now. And admittedly, and I'll be the first to admit, it is a geek kind of you don't have to have a drone to be a good photographer. You don't. It's like the last thing that you need to be a good photographer is a drone, but it does allow you to do a lot of things that you couldn't do before, right, Greg?
Absolutely, and I'm super impressed by what people are doing with them. But for me, in my business, it's not that helpful.
I'm gonna draw a line in the sand here, Christine. I'm gonna say, by this time next year, you're gonna be sitting here on the show. You're gonna be like, "Wow, how come you guys didn't tell me to get a drone earlier?" Because it's so. And
awesome. You've said this to me before. You were like, "What if senior portraits start wanting this?" And it's like. I see your point and I get that, but I'm still a new business owner in the photography world, and I'm not quite at a place to be forging ahead in that. I still almost have to follow it. I need it to be something before I can get there. Mm-hmm. I can't quite be the one yet because they're not that cheap. I don't quite have a clientele that would be willing to let me.
Yeah, that's what Joseph Linaschke said. Joseph Linaschke, who's the host of our TWiP apps show, he was saying he's not on the drone bandwagon either, but he was like, well, I can't. He's all about business, right? And he's like, well, I can't really justify it because I don't really have any clients that are demanding aerials. And right. I come at it from a different direction. I'm like, I don't care. I just want to fly, take cool pictures. I'm not trying to charge anybody for stuff. I just want to make cool.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to charge people for stuff.
Greg, are you doing any professional aerial work with yours?
I'm not. I never got the 333 or whatever the new one is now, the 179 or something like that. But I might at some point. But I'm more along the same lines as you. It's more for my own personal use. It's more for fun. I just love that there's so many different great scenes that are a little bit of, kind of been there, done that. Everyone's hammered some of the same, favorite locations, and getting up in the sky. I feel like the slate's been wiped clean. You can start new. It's a totally new take on things.
Totally. That's exactly my point. I've said this on the show many times. It's probably the main reason why I don't do a lot of landscape work, is because I feel like, I go stand someplace, I'll probably be like, Greg's been here before. Why? What can I add to the sum total of, photographic knowledge that Greg hasn't already done, or someone like you, right? There's all these really great landscape photographers out there doing great stuff. Unless I do something that's just for me, I don't feel like I could do something new and interesting. But you put a drone up there, like you said, it's right now at least, it's a clean slate. You could go do a top-down view of things and get a completely different perspective, figuratively and literally.
Do you find that it makes you shoot differently? Like when I have my camera on a tripod, I feel like I'm kind of moving in and out and left and right. I'm kind of like a tweaker. Is it better? Is it worse? With a drone, I got about 20 minutes in the air. I've got 3 dimensions to work with. So you have to come in with a vision. You can't just kind of move it around and try and find the sweet spot. It doesn't work like that. I find shooting in air is making me think different about how I shoot on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a more considered photographer, especially since I only have one battery for my Mavic. So I got 27 minutes if I'm lucky in the air. So it's like shooting with film. Right? It's like shooting with film. You got to think about what you're going to shoot, because you have a finite resource that you're dealing with. I don't know. I like it. I'm excited. I mean, my first drone was at Phantom 3, and I fully expected to crash that thing and not have it survive this long. But I've been very careful. It survived, and now I have 2. So I have the Phantom 4, or not the Phantom 4, the Mavic, which I am I'm a big fan of. Let's say that. So I don't know.
So have you seen the videos for the Inspire 2 that came out?
I have, yeah, and we'll link to all that in the show notes. Yeah. So what do you think? Tell us what you think about that.
So the specs are awesome, right? It's clearly improved on a lot of different dimensions. But what caught my attention is DJI is clearly a marketing company, and they've produced a short film. I mean, that's the kind of thing you'd see BMW doing, right? They made a 15-minute short shot entirely on the drone. Most of these are ground level shots, so they're using like a gimbal.
Somebody's holding it.
Flying indoors. Yeah. Which I just thought was super interesting. They think very differently, but then when you look at the feature set as well, they're really thinking about what their customers want. So I just think it's very interesting. A lot of drone talk is about the specifications, but when you look at what DJI is putting in front of you, they'll market the specs, but there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, that was a really interesting thing, and when I watched that, I was fully expecting to see a lot of aerials, and it was surprising they had shots inside of cars and close up emotional, 2 shots, all that stuff did they post the making of for that yet?
There's a couple different videos. The one promo video had a lot of kind of behind the scenes. You could see them running around with it. So it wasn't a making of video that I saw, but you got a feel for it. The part I want to see is how they do the audio, because they have these close tracking shots with kids with clean audio. You don't hear propellers.
You don't hear the swarm of bees next to the kid. They had to do like some, VO and insert the audio later. They had to do that. I was thinking that exact same thing. I'm like, a shot like this with a drone that's clearly has a drone in the air, you would have heard that drone. So they had to replace the, whatever they call it in Hollywood when they replace the audio on a track.
Yeah, you don't see their lips when they're doing those shots. Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm still placing bets. Christine, you'll have a Mavic 3, I bet, when all is said and done. I mean, come on. Your husband, I know he's got to be kind of interested in this stuff a little bit, right?
I don't know. He's never asked for one or expressed interest in one. I don't know. I'm not saying never. I'm absolutely not saying never. I just not, it doesn't fit with what I do yet.
No, I hear you. All right. Well, let's take a quick break, guys. When we come back, we're going to talk about Google's attempt to turn your old photos into digital prints. All right, we are back in this story from CNN Money. It's about Google wanting to turn your old photos into digital prints. So they announced a new app called PhotoScan that allows you to scan your old photos and save them online, but it does it in kind of a unique way. And you guys have played with this, right, Christine? Did you play with this?
Yes, I did. I downloaded it today. I mean, it worked pretty well. The whole glare reduction thing that they're promoting, I think, is slightly false.
Well, give us the overview of what it does and who it's for and all that stuff.
So I tried a couple things. I tried last year's Christmas card, and then I tried I have a big like 16 by 20 print of me at Disneyland when I'm 5 years old. Mm-hmm. So I did both of those things because part of what they're promoting is that this is archival, right? Like, mm-hmm. you know, old baby pictures, old prom pictures. So the idea is that you find your box of photos and you're scanning all of them with your phone. So you take a picture and then it has these 4 dots in the corners that you kind of tilt the angle of your phone. And I think that's where it's getting the glare reduction from, because then you're changing where the light is hitting your lens. Mm-hmm. And then it must composite them somehow. I don't know. I didn't look into it that closely.
So some kind of voodoo.
Some voodoo magic. And then if you have a Pixel or a Google account, you can then take them and upload them to your Google Photos account. To tell you the truth, I was thinking one of my questions was, who is this for? Mm-hmm. Because I don't actually know. To me, it almost seems like I'm not convinced that it's archival, because I'm not convinced there's actually a good digital route to archiving photos. I also live in a world where I tried to sell prints. Yeah. So going backwards from that, I think it's a 2-line system to archiving. I think you have to have prints, and then if you already have prints, maybe putting them online is a good thing, mm-hmm. In case of fire or flood or what have you. But it almost seemed like it would be more useful for a project. You know, it's my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. All of my siblings, I want you to go find your pictures and scan them and upload them so that I can do something with it for some sort of project-based reason. Yeah. But as far as history is concerned, how do I know that my great-grandkids are going to have access to this stuff if that's the goal? Yeah. It's not like going up into grandma's attic and finding an album or a box of photos. Like, where does that link? Where does that web address? Like, how do I know? How do I send this forward into generations?
on the other hand, that box is never going to get seen by anybody if it stays in grandma's attic, right? At least if you have some sort of scan of it and it's somewhere digital, then there's the possibility for the other siblings to see it maybe in the future, whereas the possibility is next to zero if it stays in that dusty box.
Only if somehow it's being sent down the line. I mean, if I were to do it now,
like archival, lifetime archival service that like follows the family, like a trust, like a photo trust.
Yes. Because I think this is only half of the equation. Getting them there is one thing, but how do you make sure that then that is passed on?
Yeah, I know. I hear you. But just your thoughts on the quality, though. So the other piece of it that I was thinking of, I've seen these apps before. In fact, Dropbox has a feature built into the Dropbox app on the iPhone that will perspective correct and scan and do all that stuff, and it will throw it directly into your Dropbox after you press the button. I was looking at this and I was like, well, this is great, but what is the quality actually archival, or are they fooling people, right?
I don't think. I mean, it's
that high resolution. You ditch the original. Now you got
a
pile of pictures.
I would really hope that if someone did this, they wouldn't go throw away all the originals. That would just break my heart. I don't think they're very high res. I would be interested in like trying to print one of the things I scanned today to see what happens. The perspective of it was great because I actually did one on an off angle to see how it did, and it did really well. But as far as high quality reproduction, I don't think it's quite there.
I think it's great for a purpose. I was playing with it earlier today, and the first person I thought of was my dad. He's like the perfect person for this. I used to have an old Nikon scanner. It's a 4000 DPI film scanner for the negatives. So my dad, he's the family photographer. He shot a gazillion photos for years, and he's been wanting to digitize them. And he's not going to pay for drum scans, and he's not going to send them off to some cheapy place. And I had a film scanner, and he's got that, and he'll never use it. The process is too long and too cumbersome. But for something like this, it's so easy. I mean, each photo is just a few seconds, And yeah, I took a new piece of technology like that. I like to just push it to the breaking point. I took it in a dark room under a lamp and quick fired over some 3x5 Christmas cards. And the images came out to me not identical to the print, but like
Good enough.
plenty good for full screen high res on my laptop. So totally agree. I wouldn't use this as a replacement for the original print. But if I have a bunch of images that are otherwise not going to be used, or high volume, or I just need low res, it's perfect. So my 3x5s were scanning in at about 2 megapixels to give you kind of a rough reference for that. So I think it's pretty good. It's for a particular audience, but for that use, I thought it's about the easiest thing I've ever seen, and quality's pretty good for that.
Is the resolution user configurable? Can I get more than 2 megabytes if I want?
I didn't see any options, and I didn't try and play with scanning at different depths to see if that changed the output. But it's a pretty simple app. That's kind of the beauty of it, but it's also, if you want something a little higher, you might as well stick with a flatbed scanner or film scanner.
Well, I was thinking, so the other side of this coin is, or what Google is marketing this as a way to turn your old photos into digital prints, right? But I was thinking, hey, what if I put this app on my phone and took a trip down to the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art?
Oh boy.
and captured some of the artwork for my my own personal collection. I could do that, right? I mean, it's gonna work where it doesn't. In other words, the artwork doesn't have to be horizontal. It could be on a wall that I'm scanning, right?
Yeah, I mean, I took it very fast scans at odd angles, and it came out flawless. I didn't even bother to really stop moving my hand. I mean, it was a really, pretty poor job on my part, deliberately just to see what it would do. So yeah, I'm sure you could do that.
I'm not recommending that to the TWiP listeners that you go and do that. I don't even know if that may actually be legal to do that, because do they stop you from taking photos in museums? You can take photos of things in museums, right?
I don't think you can.
Well, a lot of it's fair use. It's beyond copyright, most of it, if it's old.
Yeah, I'm going to test that. I'm pretty sure that I don't know.
There's no flash photography because
Yeah, and this doesn't use flash, right? You're not using
it does. That's why it turns
it does
the whole time.
Okay. Oh, interesting. That's actually really interesting. Or the other use is, over the holidays, we're recording this right before Thanksgiving, and some people are probably listening to this on Thanksgiving. I know, at least in my family, there's always like theft of images and photos that happens when you visit relatives' house. Like miraculously, that photo is gone. I don't know how it's gone. Now people can, they can take the images without taking the images, right?
That does not happen to you.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, it was kind of a thing. Families do that.
Family does that.
And then you go to someone's house the next year, like, there's that picture. Come on.
Well, I have a sister, so all that goes missing is clothes.
Oh, there you go.
I selfishly sent it to a bunch of good friends in the hopes that maybe they scanned some old photos I've never seen. So it's my digital theft.
Hey, and you could make a shared library on Google Photos and dump them all in there, right?
Yeah.
That's what Google was hoping.
I have been trying to see if I can change any of the settings, and that's very minimal.
Yeah, it's very consumer.
Pretty much a button.
Consumer friendly.
Yeah.
Press button, hold over image.
Pretty much, that's about it.
Yeah. Try out that one sounds cool, but also try out the Dropbox. If you have the Dropbox app on your phone, try that out, because it's got a little feature in there where it'll actually put a perspective corrected box around the thing that you're scanning, and then when you hit the button, what you get is a perfectly square or rectangular shot of the thing that you were taking photos of. It's like it's a scanner, so it works. I use it all the time.
I think the beauty of this app, the reason you're taking 4 photos is you're moving that flash around, and that's what's getting rid of the glare from the flash. As opposed to if you shoot with the scanner app or something like that, it's whatever lighting you have in the room. So it kind of, for someone who doesn't understand lighting, it takes the technical expertise out.
Well, Greg, but I get around that by just, since it perspective corrects, I just shoot at a little bit of an angle, and then it'll fix it, right? So.
Well, and it didn't solve the glare issue for me. I still had glare, so I don't know.
You broke it. You broke the Google app.
I'm smarter than Google. No,
Yes.
maybe I'm dumber than Google. That's probably more
I will never ever say those words. Sorry. All right, guys, let's move on to story number 3, and it's about Apple. So Apple announced a brand new product. It's a hardbound photo book that showcases 20 years of Apple products. And this is so every Mac, iPhone, iPod, iPad released between 1998 and 2015. And it's positioned by an Apple piece that's been produced by Apple in California. This book costs $200 or $300, depending on the size that you get. So, Greg, you bought this book, right? Is it in the mail? What's going on?
I have just about every Apple product. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a fanboy, but probably not going to end up with this book.
Yeah.
But it's pretty impressive. When you look, if I made wedding albums that looked that nice back when I was shooting weddings, people would be over the moon. It's really a beautiful book, and it's very Apple. I was watching the video, and at the tail end, I don't know if you noticed the credits they have in the book. The thing that caught my attention, there's one photographer who took 450 images, but there are 23 designers in the credits to make that book.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like the book. I'm not buying a $200, $300 book about technology, but I would pay $20 to $30 for the iBook version of it and put it on my iPad, right? That'd be nice to kind of page through, right?
Sure.
Right? Yeah, I'd give them 20 to 30, not 200 to 300 for something that's going to sit on my shelf, And I have a lot of Apple products too, but I don't need a family album.
So is that because it's an Apple product, or is it because it's an art book? Because there are plenty of books that go for way more than $200. So is it because it's an Apple product and you feel like I already give them all of my money?
Maybe it's a combination of all that. It's just like, if I'm looking through most of those products in there, I probably have purchased a lot of them. So they should just give me the book. Like, hey, loyal customers, over all these years, 20,000 people, we've determined that you have purchased X% of our products. As a thank you, we're going to give you this commemorative book. That would have been a nice gesture versus give us $200 for the book. That's like me charging you guys for a really nicely made book of all my kids.
Maybe if you bought the gold Apple Watch, it comes as sort of a, we're sorry.
Something. Yeah, I'm sorry. Something like that. It's like it seems like I'm sure it's beautiful. I've seen videos of it, obviously, but seems like it should be like a give to somebody that does something, like, I don't know, customers that spend over $10,000 with the company get this book or something like that.
I actually think that's a pretty cool idea. I think that in the little Mac Rumors video, I thought it was kind of a bummer how quick they were to judge the price point, because so many high quality books are so much more than that. And the cost of a book, I mean, as Greg was mentioning, wedding photography, wedding albums, like the cost of a wedding album is more than that to me, let alone what I charge the customer. So I think I thought it was kind of a fair price, and I felt bad. I feel like it's because it's Apple, not because of what it is.
It might be the audience as well, because they're limiting the audience, I think, because you have all this digerati that are used to getting everything digital on their Mac or their iPad, and they're used to like, oh, I can see anything on the planet that I want seconds after I think of it, right? On their iPad, where this is a generation that isn't conditioned to appreciate fine art books. I know I'm generalizing, but at the top of the pyramid, there's, it's not like you're going to sell a gazillion of these things. So I'm like, I don't know. If they're trying to, maybe the intent is not to mass produce and mass sell these. Maybe they're going to cut it off after, they sell 20,000 of them and never make them again. And that 20,000 will become instantly worth $2,000 to $3,000. So
I would bet that's pretty accurate, because they're only at certain stores, probably only flagship stores.
Maybe they'll number them. Are they numbered, I wonder?
Oh, I don't know.
If they're numbered, then there's a chance of that. But if they're not numbered, never going to happen.
I thought it was kind of brilliant. If they sold a $20 or $30 book, we wouldn't be talking about it. But they've got the Apple unboxing experience. They invented a new ink and paper for it, and it's $200 or $300, so it's all over the news. So
I'm still mad at them they should have took some of that money and that development effort and put the ports on that MacBook Pro.
Just one SD slot.
Just give one SD slot. Nothing else. I would have been okay if you didn't like do away with my SD slot. That's the main reason I didn't make the jump into that MacBook, because my
You didn't get it?
No, I still have the one that I just bought last year. It's loaded and it has all my ports on there, and I got a certain way of working with it. My bag's configured the way I want, and now you're telling me that I gotta give all that up and go buy a bunch of dongles, and like, who was it? Justine was saying, I was watching one of her YouTube videos. She was talking about she loves it, obviously. She loves everything Mac. But she was showing the bag of dongles that she now has to
Oh, that's pretty funny.
She got a dongle just to be able to plug her brand new iPhone 7 into it. It's like, come on, man. I mean, I'm sure eventually I'll fall in line and get one, but right now, I mean, things are dialed in, and that's like, it feels like, I don't know, it feels like change for the sake of change. It's like, come on. An SD, every camera on the planet, for the most part, consumer cameras, they record the SD, and now you ejected that. Like, come on, really?
Yeah, and Phil's answer, Phil Schiller, right, the marketing guy, says, it's awkward to have half of a memory card sticking out of your computer. And I'm like, well, is that less awkward than having half a memory card sticking out of the dongle out of the computer?
Exactly. It's not sitting in there permanently. You copy stuff off and you eject it, you take it out, put it back in your device. Come on, man. That's apologetics, tech apologetics right there. I don't know.
But I did buy one. I got one coming next week.
You have everything coming next week. Come on.
It's like my own little Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got the Mavic, so I'm happy with my little Mavic right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold tight. We talked about this on, what was it, last week's show? I think it was that Microsoft Surface Studio.
Yeah, those look cool.
It's so cool. I watched the video again today. I was like, that is a beautiful machine.
You want to talk about my husband being geeked out? He's convinced that he's going to get me to move away from my iMac.
Is he getting one of those?
No, he wants me to get one.
Oh. Yeah.
Like, can't you just imagine what your workflow would be like with this thing? Like, it's very dramatic.
It's beautiful, but it'd be a painful switch. I would love.
That's kind of what I'm like.
I would love to try it, but it's the software, man. It's the software. It's too much.
I agree.
I have too much invested in software, and I don't want a third computer, because I have the iMac that's on my workstation here. Then I've got my old, sorry Greg, MacBook Pro without a touch bar, still has those function keys that are now heresy. And like, if I got that thing, it'd be a third computer, not counting all the tablet devices and all that. So, and another operating system to deal with beyond Mac OS and iOS. So
yeah, no,
that's too much. I don't know, but I'm saying that now. There's a Microsoft store in the mall here. I may go into the Microsoft store just to look at it, and it's gonna be like that reality distortion feel. I'll walk out with it and say, you know what? I'll just try it for a couple weeks. Because it is beautiful, but that thing is, what is it for? It's like $3,500, $4,000 or something.
Yeah, I don't know, something like that.
I just love the regular Surface Pro. I used to use one of the 3s, and being able to take something the size of a tablet around and use it like a Wacom, when I'm on the go on a plane, that's awesome.
Yeah,
they're really nice.
I'm happy that Microsoft is doing cool hardware now, and their software is good as well, because remember in the day it was a clear line of, oh, you're using Windows, so it's going to crash, you're going to get viruses, it's sucky.
Right. Now
it's not the case anymore. Windows machines are awesome now, as are Macs, and in some ways, like with the Surface Studio, that's better, I would argue, than iMac. I would want it if Apple had released an updated iMac that looked like that. I would have bought that. I definitely would have bought it. Well, knowing Apple, it wouldn't have any ports on it, but I would have considered buying that. Like, hey, it's a new iMac with no keyboard. I don't know. I like the look of it, but I like getting stuff done more than I like looking at the stuff that's helping me get stuff done. So I'm going to stick with my Mac for now.
Valid point.
Right?
Valid point.
Although it is beautiful. It's beautiful. Like a trophy computer. All right, guys. Let's skip right into our picks of the week. segment. This is a segment where you guys get to pick anything that's related to photography to recommend to the TWiP audience. Christine, the photographer, I'm gonna let you go first. What's your pick of the week?
So mine is a manifesto written by a photographer named Ben Sasso, who I will just admit I'm slightly obsessed with. I love him. I love him so much. So it's just kind of something I wanted to share in case people haven't seen it. Kind of a nice, warm, fuzzy end of year reminder that we are creative professionals and that things aren't cookie cutter. And he kind of just wrote out these 10 points that I think are a great reminder for people who, like me, maybe get a little bit emotional about their work or are their own worst self-critics. All of those things. He just kind of writes this nice little point-by-point manifesto on how to accept your style and your work. And it's a nice, warm, feel-good thing for
Is that you
all
and your
of us.
husband? That looks like you and your husband right there.
No, but Ben, if you're listening and you want to photograph me and my husband, that would be fantastic. We'll come to you.
That's great. I'm going to put this in my little pocket app. I like that. Very cool.
And I mean, there's pretty pictures, and this is one thing. His blog is great. He's one of my favorite things about him. All of his posts on Facebook, he always signs off with, post your questions. We're all in this together. And I just think that is wonderful.
I love it. What a good pick. See, that's great. It's free. It's inspirational.
Inspiration, because it's getting foggy out, and no, people aren't getting their vitamin D. So they need some inspiration and positivity.
It's very true. It's very true. Yeah, it was raining. Did it rain in Sacramento yesterday? It was raining.
It did, yeah.
Huh, interesting. Rain in California. Who knew?
Who knew?
It's craziness.
And it's, dark by 4:45.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right. Well, cool. That's your pick of the week, right? Ben
That's
Sasso.
it.
Ben
Yep.
Sasso. We'll link to that, of course, and I'll be reading that later today on my iPad, which is not a $300. All right, Greg, your first pick of the week on This Week in Photo, making history. What is it? What's your pick of the week?
Well, I picked someone who's not known for photography, so hopefully I don't get harassed too bad for this. But Casey Neistat, for those of you who don't know him, very, very popular blogger on YouTube, does a daily video blog he's been doing for the last 18 months. He's up to 6 million subscribers. Actually added another million in September alone. This is a guy who's really kind of hit that pinnacle of success, and he just announced this week that he's out of the game. He's going to quit the daily vlog, and he had to actually start off basically saying this is not a joke, and go through that. And he talks about why that is, and it kind of comes down to this quote he had, which is the trouble with success is that you get comfortable. Mm-hmm. And he started this as an exercise to challenge himself creatively. And after about a year, he figured out the formula, and he could just keep cranking these out every day, adding lots of subscribers, pulling in lots of sponsorship dollars, and financially could be very successful. But he recognized that, he doesn't want to be a blogger for life. He's got bigger aspirations, and it's time for the next thing. And the only way to get there is to cut off what he's currently doing so he has the room to grow into the next thing. And I just thought, as a photographer, that resonates with me a lot. As someone who just quit my corporate job a couple of months ago to really dive into this. But I think it's just a great reminder for all creatives that at some point you pursue a niche or specialty or some dream, and you can get into a kind of a creative rut. And sometimes you need to really step back and break away from what you're doing to get to that next level. You can't just kind of optimize one step at a time. Sometimes you really need to blow things up.
That is fantastic. I mean, Casey has in many ways set the standard. There's so many videos on YouTube about how to vlog like Casey Neistat. What is he shooting with? What does he edit his videos with? On and on and on ad nauseum about this guy. And I don't know if he's the most popular vlogger, but he's got to be up there. We're looking at he just posted this video we're looking at right now. What is it? It's the 21st today. He posted it on the 19th. He's already got over 5 million views on one video. That is Like I can't, I don't even understand that. That is just crazy. 5 million people have viewed this video. Is that crazy? And now, like you were saying, Greg, he had the courage. I think it's courage more than anything. He had the courage and the foresight to throw a grenade in the whole thing and shake it up and do something different. I think he'll probably come out stronger for it, because now he's built this granite foundation of this guy that turned vlogging and redefined what it means to be a good vlogger. Now he's going to go do something else. So when he releases or announces what that something else is, all eyes are going to be on him. And I imagine between then and now, you know, the talk show circuit. Hey, we've got Casey Neistat here talking about why he ended his vlog. You know, I'd watch that. So yeah, it's amazing. That is amazing. He's an inspiration just because of his work ethic, and because of his, you know, everything he does. You know, for the most part, at least publicly, is pretty spot on and awesome. And you know, watching the videos, like I watched a couple of his videos about why he does what he did, or why he does that. I guess it is what he did, why he was doing what he did. And yeah, like you were saying, Greg, it was, he wanted to challenge himself to say, can I do this thing every day consistently at a level of quality? But then there was one of the videos I saw kind of dove a little deeper into his editing style, and it's not easy. Like if you watch go back and watch one of his old vlogs, you'll see that, you know, it shows him running through the park, and, you know, he'll run up to a restaurant or whatever. He has to actually go and position the camera first, and then go back and then run up to the camera, record it, and then grab the camera. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know.
I can't wait to see what he does next. Those are the kind of folks who inspire me the most, right? You know, to have success, you know, 18 months into this, you know, at that level, and just take that risk, and whatever he does next, I'm sure it'll be amazing, you know. And if the very next thing isn't amazing, he'll keep pushing until he hits that. So, you know, I'm excited to see what he does.
Man, I know his fans are all over the world crying right now. Please, Casey, don't go.
Well, he did promise to continue doing some videos. He just wants to spend more time on. They're going to be sort of a different style.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Interesting. That is so cool. I love that. 109,000 comments on this. Like, that's got to be a record. 109,000 comments on this video as we record this on the 21st of November. By the time you listen to this, it'll probably be well beyond 200,000, 300,000 comments on this. And 5 million views today. So I wonder in a week how many views this thing will get. I mean, look at that. 271,000 thumbs up and 75,000 thumbs down. God, I don't know. That is huge, because as I think about this, 5.8 million subscribers, that is a valuable asset. Like that's worth more than like gold, you know, or platinum, whatever, to advertisers. So yeah, that takes a lot of strength to do what he did. So kudos, Casey Neistat. Good job, man.
Well, I think I saw him post once his earnings. If I remember right, he doesn't monetize his channel at all directly on YouTube. I don't think he has any YouTube ads.
Yeah, he doesn't run YouTube ads in there, does he? Yeah. Yeah, but still, I mean,
he's doing fine, I'm sure.
Yeah, you don't have to run YouTube ads to monetize that number, right? I mean, who knows what he's doing, but just having, even if you don't monetize it by saying, you know, running ads or getting sponsorships or whatever, just the idea that you have that kind of power, because that number, 6 million, is power. That means, you know what, Christine, I feel like I want to give you a Tesla. I'm going to mention your blog. I'm going to mention your blog in passing on my YouTube channel, and suddenly you have all this traffic to your site, right? So that's, even if you don't give it, you know, you get monetary compensation directly, you can aim that traffic hose at anybody you want at any time. Even, you know, your comments on politics or any other social issues, 6 million people will hear it when you say something, and they're likely fans, so they'll probably do, a percentage of them will do what you say do, right? So you're an influencer and a tastemaker. And to put all that on pause takes a lot of guts. Would you do it? Would you do that, Greg? Would you, if you had that kind of following, would you put it on pause?
God, that's a good question. I mean, I feel like in some small way I did that, you know, kind of jumping away from, you know, a pretty good paying marketing career to start back at, kind of zero and I got to rebuild an income. But nothing quite like that.
Yeah.
I think you have to. If you've achieved that level of success, you don't need money really, unless you're spending, in poor ways. So why not go for something bigger?
Yeah. Yep.
Like I'd rather have more impact in this world than have more dollars in my pocket.
That very well said. Very well said. And I look at him, he's got a beautiful wife and a beautiful daughter, and there's a lot of effort and a lot of time out of every day that it takes to do this, to satisfy, 6 million people that are watching. I mean, if I was his beautiful wife, I'd be like, hey, dude, what are you doing? What about us? Come home, right?
She's driving that Tesla.
Yeah, exactly. She's living in New York City driving her Tesla. Or actually, New York City, you don't need a car. So only us Californians need cars to get everywhere. Oh, wow. That's crazy. What a crazy day. Casey Neistat ends his blog. That's a great pick, man. Great first pick, Greg.
Pick.
Yeah.
I actually, I did not know who he was, and I don't know if I don't know how to YouTube. I don't YouTube.
Wait, just the fact that you said, I don't know how to YouTube.
That was kind of on purpose. It was kind of on purpose. Knowing how many people get their entertainment from YouTube is kind of astonishing to me. But I did watch his last episode. He's like, before I was a vlogger, I was a YouTuber. Before I was that, I was a filmmaker, and that's what I'm still gonna do. So I think that was a pretty good send-off, considering I had no idea who the man was.
Yeah, well, now you do. Look at that.
Now I do, and now I'm interested in seeing what he does next.
Well, he's got a couple of vlogs up there that you can go back through and watch. So.
Yeah, just a few.
Yeah,
he can take a few years. I got time to fill the gap.
You got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Yeah. Wow, what a great show. Well, good. Well, thanks both of you for coming on. This has been a really, really interesting show. So now I have to go watch that because I didn't even know. I'm a subscriber, so I'm one of those 5.8 million people that are subscribed to Casey, but I admittedly don't watch him all the time. I'll watch him maybe once every couple of weeks, even though he posts every single day. Like I watched when he lost his Mavic drone. So of course I had to watch that, and some other things. I'll watch it sporadically, but I guess I was not a diehard religious watcher, but I definitely want to watch this last episode. So I'll be one of that 6 million people that are watching that.
When he literally drops the mic with a camera on it. So, got to go for that.
Of course. Good for him. Good for him. All right, before we close the show, let's find out what you guys have coming up. Christine, what's going on in your world? Lots of kids and babies?
Lots of kids, it's just the grind over here. I don't travel. I just
But you live in beautiful Sacramento in a beautiful brand new house.
It's great. No, I'm not complaining, but no travel. I'm just doing my thing over here. It's good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Just crank it away.
I am
people want to find you.
Working
where
class
you at?
photographer. Christine the Photographer, or Instagram at Christine the Photographer.
Love it. Branded. I see a Google Plus link in here. Are you on Google Plus?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how to YouTube or Google Plus.
I don't know how to Google Plus.
I have one because it helps with SEO or something.
I have one of them our Google Plus thingers, but I don't know how to use it.
I'm so old and sad. I don't know.
Right. If you're old, then I'm Benjamin Buttons. All right, Greg. What about you, man? What do you have coming up?
I'm definitely grinding right now just to get things going. I got about 8 years of ideas stuck in my head that I'm trying to execute now. So my biggest thing
welcome to the solopreneurial fray. That's awesome.
I was working till 1:30 last night and back at it at 7:30 this morning. So
and it's fun. It's not like you're all pissed off at your boss because he made you work late. You're like, wait a minute, it's 1:30 and I still want to keep going.
No, for me, the biggest challenge is making sure I'm focused because I've got a lot of different ideas, so I need to just pick a path. So right now I'm pretty focused. I've got a software product I make to do luminosity masking. It's basically a plugin.
Tell us about that.
So it's called Lumentia, And for folks who don't know luminosity masking, it's another way of creating masks and selections that's just a lot more natural. You're using what's in the image to self-select. So if you've got a sky that's too bright, you can grab that bright sky and tone it down. But instead of doing something like grab, the magic wand in Photoshop that's kind of on or off, it's got shades of gray and subtlety. So you get a much more natural looking adjustment. So it gets used in a lot of different ways. I think the way most people kind of talk about it is for blending exposures. You call it manual exposure blending. So it's kind of like HDR, but where you have full control, and the results, aren't gritty, they aren't halos, they're very natural looking. But it really could be used for anything. I'll use it for dodging burning portraits, for example. If I want to grab highlights on a skin tone, I can just grab, the highlight on the cheek, or a kid's hand or something.
Like if you do that, if you just want to grab the highlights, like if I do that, I'm not a luminosity ninja like you are, but if I do that, you're going to see my tracks, right? I'm going to see, like you said, hard edges around the area that I tried to grab. It's not going to have that smooth gradation. So your training teaches people how to do that and get in there and not leave tracks?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways people can do luminosity masking, but they can be, it can be kind of a steep learning curve. You're basically playing with channels in Photoshop. And so I've created something that you don't use channels at all. It's just a completely visual and interactive way of doing it. So for example, you can just click on the image to select tones in a particular part of the image, so use like kind of an answer.
I don't see that link in the notes to
Oh, yeah, I don't think I threw it in there.
We all need that, please. Please put it there.
Please put that link in the show notes so that
I'm fascinated.
So that no one else needs to go there. I need that superpower by myself.
Yeah, I'll throw that. It's gregbenzphotography.com/Lumenzia. I'll throw that in there. But
yes.
But yeah, that's my big focus right now. So I'm putting the finishing touches on kind of the next release for it. So which is definitely kind of a fun process, because up to this point I've been doing it, kind of nights and weekends in my spare time, and now that I'm full time, to really get in the creative zone, kind of like that. So and it's fun as a software developer, right? If I don't like something in my photography, I can go invent the solution to it, which is basically how this whole thing started. So
that's not even fair.
It's fun.
That is not even fair. It's like, what? If I don't like this whole 2-leg thing, I can invent another leg, and so I can run a little faster. You're not supposed to be able to give yourself powers, man. That's not cool.
Of course, the flip side is if I mess it up, I hear about it. So
yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, welcome. Well, you did great on your first episode of This Week in Photo. Great pick of the week, and you were great all the way through. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, and Christine held back the raising. She was very nice. Didn't say anything negative to you.
You're the one that I told you had to be nice. I'm very nice.
You are very nice. I'm just trying to deflect. All right, guys. That's it. We're at the end of another episode of This Week in Photo. Be sure to check out our site at thisweekinphoto.com, where you can subscribe to all of our other podcasts and all things photography. And now it is time to take that lens cap off.